Well, greetings. Thank you for joining us on this broadcast. As you can see, I'm at an undisclosed location, and I'm about to go to Wally World tomorrow, somewhere. Do something different. Trying to kill myself, hopefully. Yes. So I'm not sure how many times I'm going to go. Oh, something different. Who knows? All right. For tonight's broadcast, probably going to keep it a little bit short. So there was to go into this news today. Okay, the shutdown's over. I'm not going to show that, but it felt right. It felt like there's a lot of people suffering, and I think it was the reason why, like, things are getting kind of bad. So at least the airplane, it was just not good. So a compromise had to be made. As unfortunately, the government is both sides are. It's unfortunate the way it is. So yeah, it's like, look, we got power, you don't. We're smarter than you, we're better than you. So it's fucking terrible. So anyway, yeah, both sides. It's just today. This morning, I woke up like at 4:00 in the morning. Could not sleep for a long time. I think it was like 5:30 or something. I finally went to sleep. I'm not really sure. But this whole thing with Roger Stone happened. I'm not going to go into full details of. Basically, he got arrested. It just so happens that a reporter was there waiting. I guess that reporter is waiting outside of his home every day in the middle of the night, waiting to shoot video of the FBI arresting Roger Stone. So the idea that the news was tipped off that he was going to be arrested, basically. I think they were saying, oh, it was reporter intuition. It's most likely they're probably tipped off. So anyway, I don't think Roger Stone is really guilty. I mean, yeah, they're not perfect or anything, but I think it was just a setup. I can feel a setup around it, but it doesn't really matter. So in our connections today, we're going to go back into the Angels of 12. Some people seem to like it, so we're going to continue in that format. And yeah, I've been connected to another thing about traveling around. I thought about doing more travels. It's not feeling right. Of course, I'm already worn out as it is. I got work and everything. It's like, I don't need any more. I was going to go to Cape Canaveral, but that's kind of, I need to be more rested up because I'm going to fall asleep on the way back driving. It's kind of a hike. So it's across the state. So it's a nice thought, though. I've done it before, but that was a while ago. This is different times, different situations. So in the future, possibly. So I want to do some other travelers and channel in other places in due time. So I'm going to connect, just before this broadcast, or this upload, however you want to call it, connect to Pleiadian ships. So we'll see what we get from them. And I'm not sure we're going to go into any new territory tonight. I don't have any energy. We'll do what we can. We'll do some dissecting, especially the shutdown. Let's see if I can get anything else from that. We'll do what we are allowed to do. Sometimes you can't. You gotta give it a rest. I've been going to a lot of areas a lot recently. It's been kind of heavy, so a break is needed every once in a while. The channeling book is coming. I set up for another proof. Once it looks decent, we're going to do the release. But it needs to look decent first. So, and the rabbit is on its way too. So, where else are we going? Okay. All right. For the Pleiadian ship, I think we'll have to channel their energies. I just feel the idea of them and the vibrations came in just now. There's also reptilian energies. That's nice. That was the other thing about connecting to beings. bringing the beings into our dimension before we go into the ship energies. It's like sometimes just talking about it, thinking about it. Basically, the idea is like, say I'm doing a channeling here or doing a message, and you see a being behind me. Just ever, some people see orbs, some people have supervision, and you can see them no problem. But the idea is for it to be picked up on camera, though. Whereas people see orbs. I mean, orbs, there's nothing wrong with orbs, but basically seeing actually the shape of a being. And the aliens have more power over that than any ghost being. Now, to say ghosts can't be seen in images or video, we kind of have to have special technology for that. As for when and how and when this is going to happen, the idea is to put this information out there more basically for people to be more awake it can happen. Is basically for the dimensions to cool off the negativity, more positivity come through. So that's a gag too. You can bring in a positive being, or because this world's so negative, why don't a negative one show up instead? Seeing how they're part of our society, they've been manipulating us. I'm trying to remember. I sometimes write down what I'm going to talk about the day before. I'm just starting to remember what the hell I was going to talk about today. Yeah, that's easier to bring in I think I mentioned this already somewhere. Yeah, it's easier to bring in a negative being than a positive one. Well, because you like frustrate them, you piss them off. You're not trying to. The best you don't try. Just be yourself. It's like, yeah, these beings can be seen here eventually. And, it also gives the idea to most of modern society that is kind of dipping their toe into all this. Like, maybe that can happen. The idea is to put the thought pattern out there that they can be seen. I think they can be. Obviously, there's areas around the government, military, all around the world, wherever it might be. Usually, I think the U.S. mostly has a hand over it, a control over it, from what I can feel at least. Of course, obviously, foreign governments are involved in some shape or form. I just got a message. Yes, they can be seen, but we're not ready yet. But this is the final stages of them being seen. In some ways, yes. The final stages of this reality. I don't know who said that. I was thinking Spirit Guide. That was neat. So you get the idea. It can happen. It's just putting that idea. Now, they're not going to be like, wake up and you see a Zeta. When you're laying in bed, sleeping, wake up. Oh, look, there's a Zeta looking at me. I don't think it's going to be like that. But, I've had experiences. Oh, that was it. Because I put I made a video about this. I'm going to upload on here. I put it on the Patreon. And I'll put it here. I'm going to do the Patreon as like a video diary of this, but I'll put on. It's like it's going to be a lot. Well, maybe not. I'm not sure, but eventually put on YouTube. I don't want to overdo the YouTube one too much. So I also thought about. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. I also thought about when I do live streams. You can do it through Vimeo. Of course, you have to pay for it, but you can do it through Vimeo. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not. But stream to YouTube and stream to Facebook and stream to Twitter at the same time. The reason for it, you'll have a backup on Vimeo, but then again, you do have a backup on Facebook and everyone else. Whatever, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking out loud. Oh yeah, that's right. Yesterday, not yesterday, the day before, I forget what day it was, but anyway, in the morning, was it? Yeah, it was yesterday. In the morning, I felt a reptilian around me that was kind of pissed off about me talking about all of this beings can be seen here in the public and stuff like that. That we can bring them in, and they get aggravated. Reptilians get aggravated. I can feel his energy around me as I was going to my car, going to work. It's like I feel like screw you kind of energy. It's like, yeah, I love that stuff. See, I'm not trying to make them mad. You kind of, because when you try to make them mad, they want that negativity. But if you do, like, talking about disclosure for them to be seen here, known here, they don't like that. They don't want people to know that they're here. That's the gag. It's whatever, the joke, whatever you want to call it. The less people believe that they're here, because people have to see them to believe it, right? So they have that advantage. So nobody sees them. So you continue on the dark timelines of being manipulated by society, by these guys, the dark Illuminati, whatever you want to call it. I guess technically it's the dark Illuminati. You can take a, yeah, pretty much. It's just how do I word it? Yeah, because when we incarnate here, there's different levels of darkness you incarnate into, and it's pretty much a dark Illuminati. How do you know that? You just look at society. Look at the government and the shutdown, all the crying going on, it's just like it's kids. So when all that, I mean, like Bloomberg and all that, billionaire, I know like a child. It's like, yeah, I have all the money in the world. You can still act like a kid. So the idea, so money isn't everything. Not really. Eventually, money will mean nothing as more people activate their powers and their abilities. It's like all the money in the world is not going to buy you understanding of your psychic abilities. Yes, you can learn about it. But like when telekinesis, people with telekinesis get more powerful, that's all for free. That is all of them connecting to the earth. That is not they pay $100 and learn telekinesis. Yes, you can learn how to do it. But, you can't just pay for it and it'll happen. You have to study, learn it, and slowly develop it. Same with telepathic. It all just, and there's just areas where you just can't go to store and buy. And so eventually that's when money is going to start losing its value. We don't need it anymore because more people are going to activate themselves. That is going to happen. We're in the early stages of it. Basically, people are going to be seen here as super people. I think the X-Men's a good example of it because they're like mutant people, but these are people just activating themselves. That's all. I mean, that's like an exaggerated version of it, but maybe not so much. Either way, you kind of need something to go by as we go into our awakening. Yeah, we're going to start to mimic fiction. We are going to be those fictional characters, but it's going to be real. So, to go into the Pleiadian ship, let's see here. Souls are not ready for our energies, but we are welcome to hear from you. Yes, we have plenty of food here. It's all very healthy. Yes, we do not have a McDonald's, but we do cherish you are all in a way of poisoning yourselves, but you're learning from those experiences. It's just not enough of humans have had enough of poisoning their bodies yet. Because once they do, they'll begin to change their ways. But realize also when the body slows down, the mind does open up in some areas where they want to be healthy mentally. When you're healthy mentally, your body sometimes follows, not always. So some need to sabotage themselves to find enlightenment. So I'm not finding happiness. That's why they go to junk food for a quick high. That will change. Humanity will want to know more about itself. Even those that do harm through eating terrible foods, whatever it might be, there's no judgment, never will be. The soul has a funny way of figuring itself out. We find that very clever. Is that souls here just have different ways of diverting from a, because you'd be surprised how many that do eat junk food are actually very open people. You'd be surprised. They just haven't found the information that fulfills them, where they can find, because they're trying to find a feeling, trying to find a high somewhere, either through drugs, through alcohol, through cigarettes, whatever it might be. And soul enlightenment has not really come into society just yet. It is slowly coming in, but there's no such thing as one size fits all. Everyone has their own way, because many here are in a self-destructive path, and some are because they're not eating well, they're just kind of dull with life. But they are in a path of their own awakening, where they have their moment of transition, meaning that they're finally like hit bottom, but also ready to look at the world in a little bit different way. There's different ways of looking at this, but the souls here are in a transition to darkness, but also in a way to enlightenment. The reason Pleiadians and other beings aren't showing themselves, humans are not exactly kind to themselves. But once again, we're kind of watching you deteriorate each other, kind of, pulling each other down. Not everybody, but there's a good population. But then there'll be a time of to turn things around. A lot of the food here is for mental health, just to eat things that aren't healthy, just to give them a high, because life is very, hard, tedious, hard, basically difficult to experience. So there's different, everyone has their own vices, as you say. And those vices are going to eventually turn into enlightenment. You no longer need those vices. So what's going to happen now? The soul is going to transition out when the time's right. So when is the time right? A lot of souls have a clock of awakening, but some of them have destroyed that clock. And some are going into self-destruction, meaning that some are going to reincarnate here when things are a little bit better. Some feel it's very dense here, and it's like, sometimes it's better just to be like everyone else, at least life-wise, not exactly mentally wise, but kind of go with the flow of the masses. Because awakening is like you hit the brakes, and now you're another person, and you feel very alone. And not everybody wants to feel that way. They want to feel, socially accepted. And it's kind of hard. Like you go to a nightclub, say, hey, let's talk about aliens, or if you're trying to meet like a relationship, or trying to, and you want to talk about aliens and spiritual growth and stuff like that. How far is that going to go? Probably not very far. So there's a lot of limitations in humanity of career things like music, sports. Everyone's in their own little category. And spiritualism is kind of all over the place, actually. Different levels of it, of course, but it's a lot more vast. And that might scare a lot of people, because there's no real definite definition of anything, really. You kind of create it as you go in a lot of ways, meaning that everyone experiences life differently. So opening to spirituality also opens you up to your own universe. Because everyone, well, even in today's society, you do have your own definition of a lot of things, your own point of view. But when you go into someone's universe, you're in their creation process, and you might look at the moon differently to you. To others, it might be what the color that you see, but to some, it feels light blue, it's green, it's yellow, it's orange, whatever it might be. Even the sun itself gives out a different vibration. It's like when you connect to each other, you're like, this is a whole nother way of looking at things beyond your average human, perception, your world. And that does not mean this will be, it's not the easiest transition right now, but it doesn't make life more interesting. Of how you look at the world, like as a table, I'm not sure about that. I had this conversation with this table. They like being here, but they actually they like being part of society, this room and all that, they want to be part of the human experience, but also they wanted, they knew going to like the tables universe or the walls universe, and there's a lot more things. Yes, it becomes very strange, but humanity is very strange as it is, because it's very limited. Sport categories of life. Which category do you put yourself in? And somebody just said, I want to be part of any of that. I want to be free. So I just see that mind does, put you in a certain degree, of work. Like, do you like football? Are you a sports person? Are you a movie person? Are you a music person? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As like some people, it's like maybe I'm all those things. I'm that and 10 million other things. As a small person, part of me, I'm connected to other realities of enlightenment, just so I can. This is how one finds one's joy. Yes, it might be strange in a world like this for right now. But over time, when humans get bored of their modern reality, so this is why bringing these things up is very important. So just talking about aliens being seen is very important too. You're putting the idea out, and that's what matters. Just the idea, and you're constantly putting it out there because you're like sharing. It's like, by the way, alien contact can happen. Yes, we can appear in your society. We feel humanity is not ready because it's very angry at itself for many different reasons. But this is also a great time to be alive, not an easy one, but also not an easy one, but also a great time because you can take the old world and shine in a new one without war, without a Christopher Columbus attack or anything like that. Enlightenment, not just guru information, but just information of just you're unlimited. There's no limitations of anything. Yes, many do glimpse into this little by little of no limitation, but has it really been fully explored? It's like there are steps of spirituality that some can handle, but realize there's vast more direction. Basically, you'll have humans on this world that will do nothing but remember the other universes that are connected to. Rick and Morty has some examples of that. It's like Pearl Universe, Astral Universe. Just love the worlds of the bizarre. They're already here. The people that like bizarre things are from universes that are very bizarre. Humans here that like westerns are used to actually worlds that are very primitive. You can be part of a Pleiadian society that has, yes, a flying spacecraft, but still very primitive in their ways. Some do carry guns. You're not the only ones that can have guns. There are other Pleiadian ones that have some, but they also have like what was it? Aliens, cowboys, and aliens. Something similar. Basically, in the Old West, and see a spaceship flying by. So to give you a little bit more understanding that you're not the only game in town of a third dimensional world. There's just different renditions of it. This one's very hard because of the manipulations, obviously, and humanity wants to school itself as hard as it can. It is, yes, hell on earth. Some call it a wasteland. It's hell on earth, basically. But more of basically be able to, for the soul to speak what's truly within. Because many why they get in relationships it's like many of you get into relationships to open each other up. You might even hate each other, but you're actually slowly like dialing into each other's energies to slowly open each other up to, you're not always aware of that, but even to your own spiritual awareness, what's going to become, yes, drastically different. There's different levels of spirituality. And this is the reality of basically, as we speak here, of really the extreme world of truly awakenedness, where, yes, you can have a conversation where you're a hamburger, chickens. You might feel their darkness, but also you feel it's like we're looking forward to you when you see, why you made these decisions to eat a hamburger or chickens or whatever. It's like, yes, it's an extreme world to go in this direction, to eat another being, but that's so brave of a society to go down that route. To take an animal, yes, and go through the butchering process is very vicious, as you can see, but it still has a lot of bravery. It has a lot of balls and guts to do that for men and women, of course, to go in that direction. And yes, you do have health, but many of you come here where you need that type of food too. It has a lot to do with ancestors. It's like, we need to eat these chickens, we need to eat these cows. There's nothing wrong with that, but it is, according to other aliens, it's still very, to eat another species like that's pretty heavy. Obviously, there are other worlds, but this one's quite extreme, especially with the way the animals are treated. You can still have animals for consumption. The way they're treated isn't exactly treated that well. So, yes, it's very harsh here. And it's not just, the world's not harsh just because of reptilians. That is an outer energy. Some are demonic beings that they really want to test, like, once again, test your souls for how well you want to go. But also it shows that eventually we're able to turn that dial and enhance ourselves to realize many souls go into darkness. So when you go into enlightenment, you really can open yourself up even more than you could before. Like, be able to handle stress easier. This might not be fully understood, but the reason you go into darkness so you can handle stress and environments, different environments. You go through these tests to be able to call it endurance. It's just so you can handle, what's to come on other worlds. You will be challenged. You want to handle more challenges. So you notice how some they get tested and then they go through more trouble, challenges. It does get old after a while, challenge after challenge. Realize also some of these beings have had it easy in many incarnations too. It doesn't always mean that you've been bad. I've been so bad in other lifetimes, now my life's going to hell. Another thing is some lives just have it easy for a long time. And it's about time and that's the thing. They come into this world and they add too many tests. And they see too much. That's why many of you can't really see through your visual to see alien beings, because that'll be just too much. If you saw the spirit world, you'll see several layers of dimensions, and it'd be very difficult to focus on this reality. So call it a blessing. You don't always see what you want to see. But this does not mean that aliens aren't going to start focusing in to be seen on your reality. As you tune into our vibrations with a positive connection, we will tune into your energy fields and be part of your society once again. So it's kind of like a dial for the air conditioner or heater. You're dialing into our frequency. So if you turn it hot with negativity, so if you turn positive, whatever it might be. Yes, what being, you might see positive or negative depending on what experience that you need. Some need to see a negative being because you're not going to forget that anytime soon. And some like the shock, the vibration, because once again, you're learning from that. It's like some need the adventure of that. And not to say it's fully a negative being, but it's a being that like gives you a lower energy shock. And they think it's hilarious. But also I think you're part of their family too. Thanks for allowing me to scare the hell out of you. You want to be friends? You'd be surprised how much of it is done out of love. Yes, it's a strange love, but it is, well, some might seem strange, others don't. Yes, the way you see that higher dimension is going to take time for you to adapt to how we see things, but many of you are altering your realities to become more alien, see it the world from an alien's point of view, just by how you are. You just gradually find that within yourselves. Yes, we are in a ship close to you. Yes, we are Nordic Pleiadian beings. There are, yes, several different species, but yes, we have been connected to you. Yes, we have to go through all the aggravation you do too. By having lifetimes here, but also have other Pleiadian aspect, positivity here. But we realize as aliens, when we have a ground crew as you here, because realize you have a ground crew here, but also you have an alien higher vibrational version of you. It's kind of a necessity. Realize your alien self can go through depression too, what you're going through. And sometimes the alien can go through a lot of difficulties, and you go through a lot of difficulties. I don't know why I'm mad, why I'm depressed, why I just really disgusted by humanity right now. I don't know why, but it's because some of the aliens are feeling effects from other humans, other aliens, because yes, aliens can go through day zero lives too, because we're all part of the human experience too. It's not just you. Yes, there's a different frequency, but we have to know how to handle you, how to talk to you. So yes, you are our avatar on this world. And many of you have an alien. You are all out human third dimensional avatars of a higher alien connection. All of you have it to some degree, either Zeta, Pleiadian, whatever it might be. You are avatars for other species, yes. And to connect to that root isn't always the easiest, always necessary. But as you connect, some of you are connected to multiple beings, but you do feel like one is Orion. As I say, Syrian Orion is a very interesting one because they don't always make their labels very clear. Many of you are, yes, insectoid beings living a human experience, and not always the easiest to allow the insectoid to come through just yet, because yes, that's a little bit strange. Being a Pleiadian human here is one thing, but being an insectoid is sometimes more harder because you don't hear about it very often of insectoids incarnating as human. Some are, yes, are very humorous. Some are very much comedians, or comedians, even popular comedians, but you put the pieces together. It's just humanity is going into a crossroads of discovering itself. And realize the alien assistance here, yes, we are going through a lot of struggles as you are. And maybe not to the depth that you are going through, but we do feel your vibrations. Yes, we there's a wording for it, but yes, we feel your pain, or it doesn't matter. As it can be magnified through us. Once again, you feel our enlightenment and sometimes our anguish. Our enlightenment feels like I feel like high as a kite, and I have no idea why, but I am at the supermarket or I'm at work and I'm loving the world right now. A lot of that has to do with progress of your alien selves, meaning that we've overcome a lot of hurdles and we are celebrating because you go through problems, we go through problems. We all interact together, so we are solving many of the Earth's problems by, there's different ways of, we can't go into that at this time, but we have our tests similar to yours. That's what we want to make it clear. So some of you might feel your alien avatar. You are an alien avatar for us, but we are avatar for you. Yes, it might seem like it's a little strange, but it's, you will get to know our vibrations over time, meaning because you're going to feel your alien self speak through you, hear through you in due time. And somebody feel like I just had an out of body experience, meaning I was an alien on another planet or another ship, and I saw my human self going through these difficulties. And being a human here, the necessities, the treasures of being human, is not always easy to realize the treasures of it. Yes, because your world is very rare. And we're not just saying that. It is a jewel of an experience, as difficult as it is, because a lot of worlds don't want to take this direction. Yes, there are worlds more difficult, but all difficult worlds have their treasured energies. And just being a part of this one is, yes, the Atlanteans took many, they sacrificed, they lost a lot of their souls that got trapped here. For, they wanted to connect to higher knowledge, even beyond the high powerness that they were connected to. A knowledge of no memories of anything. A forgetfulness. You'd be surprised how, yes, your world is not the hardest, but still very hard, as you can see. It's still a major player in the hard world. Is in the top 10. You can say it's in the top 5 or top 4. Without going into full difficult details of that. So many find it a necessity to incarnate a world, no matter the difficulties, no matter how you're hating it, You'll find enlightenment eventually in due time. And some, yes, do suicide themselves in this world, which, yes, it's the soul feels that's the only direction it can go in. We can't interfere with that. We can assist with finding alternatives. Some feel they must go into the lower realms for countless reasons. But many of you here are healing that dimension. As needs, yes, as you can see, men are enjoying that dimension of lower astral because they are living it through hate and disconnect. You will find yourselves more clear in your future. When are you going to connect to us in due time? Just be yourselves. Yes, curiosity, us showing us ourselves in your reality. You might see us in your third eye, like several beings in a jumpsuit. We are projecting ourselves into your world. Hologram energies we are allowed to do, to holographically show up, so we are more capable. We can do it in a second. So, but we need your permission. We do have your permission, but we can't interfere too much. But yes, we are part of your timeline. Alien disclosure timeline is rising on your world. That's all we can say. It's getting stronger. You're allowing more disclosure energies to come in on a personal level. Yes, you see our ships, but you want to truly see us. We'll leave that with you. Blessings. Being with Zechariah that came through. All right. I'll leave you with that. So if you're new to all this, the link is in the description below. So much love.